Hey guys, so today this show is all about you. I thought about what topic I want to talk about, and being that it's a slow news period for cricket at the moment, and there's not a lot of things to really talk from a news perspective, I thought I'll do a little exercise with you guys where you guys get the power to be able to make certain decisions and show me your thoughts on the Proteas and the ODI setup and who you'd like to see in the ODI squad for the World Cup. I will provide you guys with some stats. I put it in Stats Guru on ESPN Cricket Info for the last 2 years of the top performers in ODI cricket, so that it can maybe help you guys name a couple of players that you'd like to see in that World Cup squad. Now, there aren't any rules. You guys can pick whoever you want for the ODI squad. And when you guys put your players into the live chat, I will bring them up on screen and show the rest of the fans, and we can discuss each position and we can talk about each single player. And I'll give them a little bit of my opinion on your squads and what I think of it and what I think of the players that you've selected. But before we get into the show, before we get going, there's a couple of things that I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the magazine. It's 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. We are busy currently with the next issue that will be coming out very, very soon. So please subscribe now and you'll get a notification straight to your email when the latest issue is available. If you are new to this channel as well, I'd like you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. But also don't forget to smash the like button, comment, and share. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with when it comes to your World Cup squads and who you'd like to see in the World Cup squads in for this year's 2023 ICC World Cup. Let's go. Good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. And today I'll be doing a little exercise with you guys where you guys get to reveal your squads for the World Cup. Now, okay, I saw Lawrence actually put a little rule in the live chat. Let's try to be realistic about this, of course. Let's not try and bring Amala or people out of retirement or whatever, or maybe the Villiers out of retirement to bring him into this ODI squad. Let's try and be realistic. Also, with regards to the conditions that we're playing in, obviously we're going to be playing in India, so take that into consideration when you select your squads. And also, it's about us a 15-man squad is generally what we pick when it comes to World Cups in general. So let's try to keep within those parameters and try and see who we can come up with. So maybe to help you guys out a little bit, I will share with you guys, like for example, the top batters and the top bowlers when it comes to this, so that you guys can have a look and see who are the players that are the top players currently within the South African team over the last 2 years, so that you guys can get some indication of which players have done well, which players haven't done well, or who are the top players that are in the current setup when it comes to South Africa. So I'm going to first and foremost start with the batters, because generally speaking, that's where most people start when it comes to selecting teams. And I'm going to try and put those ones up on the screen for you right now. So let me just share my screen so that you guys can have a look at the list of. I'm using the last 2 years because it's a nice little window for us to be able to see, because it kind of also gives an indication of who's currently in form. It does give us a nice indication of that as well. So let's let's start with that. Um, see if it pops up when I wanted to. Okay, so let me share that screen with you guys. Turn audio off. Cool. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Cool. So, as you guys know, and a lot of you guys will know, this is the top batters over the last 2 years um, in South African cricket. It's from the 25th of July 2021 till 25th of July today, 2023. So, right at the top with the most runs is Rassie van der Dussen with 788 at the strike rate of 95 with an average of 49, 300s and 350s. A very consistent player within the one day setup for a while, but in recent times, he has dropped a little and he hasn't necessarily been as consistent as he was in the start of his career. Then next on the list is Aiden Markram with 19 matches as well, 716 runs at an average of 44.75 and 104 50s. He's really upped his game when it comes to the last year or so when it comes to white ball cricket for South Africa, as well as Test cricket. But the one that we were worried about is the ODI setup, and as we can see, he's really upped his game when it comes to that. So he's sitting here with a 44 average, which is a decent return, but that strike rate is beautiful with 104 of 104 strike rate over here, as you see. Then next on the list in 14 matches, Temba Bavuma with 689. Crazy that he scored 689 in 14 matches. Actually bettering Quinton and Heinrich in less matches than them. He has an average of 57, 300s and a 50, which is a brilliant return for someone in ODI cricket. And his strike rate's not too bad with as it's seen here 93.10. Then we've got Quinton de Kock next on the list with 16 matches, 611 runs, 40.73 is his average, and 103 50s, a strike rate of 101.83. Then we've got Heinrich Klaassen, 15 matches, 568 runs, 51.63 average, and 121.88 strike rate. Brilliant from Heinrich, 102 50s. Then we've got David Miller with 19 matches, 533 runs, an average of 53.30, and also 116 strike rate with 550s to his name during this period. The next on the list is Janeman Malan. In 16 matches, 475 runs, an average of 29.68, a strike rate of 74.745, and 102 50s. Then next on the list is Kyle Verreynne with 5 matches, 195 runs, 48 average, 78 strike rate, and 250s. Riza Hendricks is next with 6 matches, 187 runs, an average of 31, strike rate of 81.65. And then we've got Marco Jansen with 9 matches, 131, average 26, strike rate of 105, best of 43. Then Keshav Maharaj, and then it goes below the hundreds year on out. As you can see here, we've also got someone that's been a fan favorite, Geoff Linde, on the list as well here, Shamsi. But okay, we're not going to go with under 100 runs. I think we've covered majority of the guys that are above 100, which is basically the most important when it comes to that. Then I want to show you guys as well the bowling stats, so you can see who are the top has been the top wicket takers in this period as well. So let me bring that up for you right now. In the bowling department, we've got right on the top of the list with 17 matches is the Tabaresh Shamsi, 17 matches, 25 wickets, an average of 29, an economy of 5.90, and the best of and 1 5 to his name during this period, no forfeits. Then we've got Lungin Gidi, second on the list with 16 matches, 19 wickets, an average of 38, an economy of 5.95, and 1 forfeit to his name in this period. Then we've got Keshav Maharaj, 16 matches, 16 wickets, an average of 36.12, an economy of 4.66, and no fifers to his name. Then we've got Kagiso Rabada with 10 matches, 15 wickets, 29 average, 5.14 economy, 1 fifer to his name. Sisanda Magala with 7 matches in 14 wickets, which is a great return. 23 average, 6.32 as an economy, which is quite expensive, you could say, and 1 fifer to his name. Then Anik Nokia, we've got 10 matches and we've got 14 wickets. 30.42 is his average, 6.10, and 2 4 to his name. Then 19 matches, Aiden Markram, 11 wickets. So it's good to see that Aiden is on this list as well as from a bowling perspective. 35 average, 5.50 is his economy. Marco Janssen, 9 matches, 10 wickets, average of 45.70 and 5.83 is his economy rate. Adele Pechlekwayo, 10 matches, 7 wickets, an average of 37.85 and then 6.02 is his economy. And Bjorn Fortuin with 4 matches. So I'm not going to go to these guys because 4-5-2, um, although they have great returns, it's only a couple of matches that we can talk about. Then Wayne Parnell with 8 matches, 5 wickets, 54.40 average and 5.21 is his economy. And George Linder, 2 matches, and Henrik Rassi van der Dussen also on here with 19 matches, 1 wicket. Timber Bavuma as well. But let's not talk about those guys. So that's the last 2 years, the performances. Just to give you guys some insight so that you guys do know some of the performances that these players have had over the last couple of seasons. So let's get into your squads because I want to get your squads, and who you're going to pick for this World Cup. So Lawrence starts first over here in the comment section. Batters, he says Quentin de Kock, Temba Bavuma, Rassi van der Dussen, Aiden Markram. So that's his top 4. Then Miller, Klaasen at 5 and 6. And then Riza in that batting lineup. Then from his bowler's perspective, it's KG, Nokia, Kutsia, Magala. And then, okay, you're not necessarily putting it in order, I don't think. So, yeah, so your batters, Quentin, Temba, Rassi, Markram, Miller, Klaasen, Riza. That's 7 batters. Then KG, Norkia, Kutsia, Magala. Then his spin options are Shamsi, Linda. Fortuin is the obvious pick, he says. And all-rounder Janssen for his 15. And then his wild card is Brevis, which adds batting and bowling cover. He also says there's a toss-up between Ngidi and Magala. For me, I went with Magala because I can see him doing well in India with a reverse swing. And he adds with a bat, which can be handy at number 8 and 9. So it's a very good squad. I think he's picked over here. A nice balance between youth and experience. Seen his left, someone that has been picked a lot of time, which is Wayne Parnell, and trusting the youngster in Marco Janssen in that all-rounder position. And a nice throwaway there on the side as well with regards to the wild card. Okay, not a throwaway, a nice additive is the wild card, which is Brevis, which is adds a bowling and batting cover, which is a nice bold move to add him into his World Cup squad. Lawrence also continues to say Ngidi is interesting one. Hardly played at the last 2 T20 World Cups for SA. Didn't play in the IPL. Lost his test spot. Not playing in the MLC. Lacks good performances and consistency of late. And that's the big problem when it comes to Lungi Ngidi is game time. You're 100% spot on with that. He hasn't been getting a lot of game time in whatever forms of cricket he has been playing. It's going to be very difficult for the coach to pick someone that hasn't necessarily been building momentum up to that World Cup or getting some overs under his belt. It might be that he has to go back to domestic cricket again and find his rhythm again and get regular game time there if he hasn't been trusted in Proteas colours. That is a bit sad. As you can see on the list that I showed you earlier on, he's the second, he's the second highest wicket taker with regards to the South Africans in ODI cricket over the last 2 years. So it is quite sad to see that he hasn't been given opportunities. But we have seen the likes of Anik Nokia, KG Rabada, Gerald Kutsia, other bat bowlers come through the system, and Marco Janssen do well as well. And also as well, Sisanda Magala, who can also hold the bat too. Amit responds with reverse swing is hardly seen in ODIs after saliva ban. And then he goes on to give his team. Okay, before I get to that, let me just give Lawrence's response. Reverse swing still really works really well on dry subcontinent surfaces like we saw in the IPL. Being realistic should be a rule. Okay, yeah, that was earlier on. Okay, cool. So let's look at what Amit's team is. So he's gone with Quinton de Kock, Bavuma, Rassi van der Dussen, Markram, Miller, Klaassen, and Riza. The same top seven as Lawrence. Then he's gone with Pacers in Nokia, Rabada, Parnell, Magala, and Janssen. And then his three spinners are Maharaj Futain, Maharaj, and Maharaj Osamjo, Lindo, Brevis. I would like you to pick between those guys and not just put slashes, because then we can literally pick a team of 18 and then to cover our tracks. Be bold and make a decision and say which one you would want between Maharaj and Shamsi and which one you'd want between Linda and Brevis. It would be nice if you could do so for me, but that's a very decent team as well. Parnell is someone that they've trusted in South Africa in white ball cricket recently. Um, had a good a lot had a very good game in the MLC. We took a five for the season so far. I wouldn't say he's been necessarily very consistent for South Africa with the ball or bat, and it's something that we need to find some rhythm and consistency if he is going to get selected in that team. Uh, Cheese Griffin says, um, our top six is obvious. I'd love to see Riza and Stubbs as backup batters. Um, Lawrence says the top six picks itself: Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma, Rassi van der Dussen, Markram, Miller, and Klaassen. Yeah, kind of does. Then Lorenzo with his squad, we've got Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma, Rassi van der Dussen, Markram, Miller, Klaassen, Riza. He's gone with Panal, KG, Nokia, Ngidi, Shamsi, Kesh, Linda, and Stubbs. He says, I feel Kutsia, Janssen, and Brevers will be traveling reserves. An interesting selection over there as well. He's gone with the experience of Parnell. Um, he does not have Magala in his team, but he's gone with Shamsi, Kesh, Linda, and Stubbs in his team. So it's a bold move there too. I would like to see whether South Africa is going to do something like that. If they're going to make a, a bold decision by giving a part-time spinner that can bat an opportunity. Someone like Linda, I mean, someone like not Linda. Sorry, that is a big no. Someone like Brevis or someone like Stubbs, someone that can that are genuine batters first and can bowl a bit as well. Whether they will be able to give Aiden Markram some more responsibility, let him bowl more overs, so that opens up a spot for a batter that can bowl a bit. Because the more overs Aiden Markram bowls, the more emphasis we can put on the batter selecting an extra batter that can bowl a bit. The less overs that Aiden bowls, the more the the bowling all rounders we have to pick that lean towards the bowling all rounders. So that's the decision that they're going to have to make, and whether they're going to be bold enough to make that decision or not is going to be very, very interesting. Amit says, I feel um instead of spin friendly pitches will be batting friendly, and 330 scores will also be chased easily with due factor as well, says Amit. Lawrence says, three spinners. We already got Markram who will give us overs. That third spinner could get us batting or bowling cover, says Lawrence. That's an interesting point. Um, because, like I was saying right now, if we have Markram, it depends how much the responsibility with the ball they're going to give Markram. Like I showed you guys earlier on in the show, um, the or some of the top bowlers in the last 2 years, Aiden Markram is on this list with in 19 matches. He's taken 11 wickets. In total, he's bowled 70 overs. So it's someone that we're looking at as well. Let me just see something quickly. I just want to work that out quickly, just to know. Um, That's about 3.6 overs a match if you look at it. So 4 overs a match almost, that he has bowled. If you look at it, could he get more response if you take the average? Obviously, in certain games you probably bowl more, and so other games you'll bowl less. But if you take the average, it's about 4 overs a game. So can we give Aiden Markram more responsibility? Maybe give him 5, 6 overs, maybe 7 overs, or maybe even 8. Then the part-time spinner can bat at 7 and we can bat deep, and he only has to bowl 1 or 2 overs. That is an option. Um, the more overs that Aiden bowls, the less overs the part-time spinner has to bowl if we want to select 7 batters. So that comes into consideration as well. Linda is mandatory, says Akshay, in the white ball squad. He can bat as well. Maharaj has not performed well in India in both red and white ball cricket, he says. So we can maybe have a look at Keshav Maharaj's stats, and we can have a look and see how he's done in white ball cricket in India, what his record is like. So let's have a look. Records. Oh, no, sorry. Oops, that's wrong. I need to go to stats. It's like a tutorial to Cricket Info as well, guys. Um, right here, live on the show. Cricket Info should pay for some advertising. We give them a lot of advertising here. Let's have a look over here where it is, which shows that. Okay, so in India, he's only played 2 matches. Is this correct? ODIs. Okay, so in India, he's only played 2 matches, taken 1 wicket, and 4.53 economy and average 68. So he hasn't played many games in India, but in Asia in general, only 7 matches as well, 9 wickets. So his return in Asia is not that bad actually, as what it seems like, or what people are making it out to be in white ball cricket. So that's just to give you guys a quick indication of what Maharaj's form has been like. And there's not a lot to really talk about when it comes to that, because he's only played 2 matches in India. So yeah, we can't really. Don't think we can really judge him on 2 matches that he's played in ODIs in India. Tabo says we know who's going to be our top 6. My problem is our first match is against Sri Lanka in spin-friendly Delhi. Their bowling attack is dangerous from those conditions, and that's true. Can we play against the spinners? I think our game has improved a lot against spin, actually. I think Quinton de Kock's game has improved a lot against spin. I think Aiden Markram has been decent against spin. I think Heinrich Klaassen is brilliant against spin. And I think David Miller is great against spin. There might be a little question mark over Rassi. I think Temba has the ability to be able to combat spin. So there might just be a little bit of a question mark over Rassi and his ability against spin consistently. He's shown it in patches, he's shown it here and there. He can be really deadly and he can also give his wicket away. So it has been inconsistent with regards to spinners. But I think we will be able to handle it personally. I don't think I'm too scared about our way we can play spin. What I'm worried about is that what I'm worried about is whether our players that are our world class players, whether they can come into this with form and be consistent throughout the tournament. We need Quinton de Kock to step up. We need the likes of Timba to step up as a captain. And we need those Rassi van der Dussen to start finding that scintillating form that he had at the beginning of his career. We need that back again where he's scoring regularly. And I think if those things are ticked, then David is a bonus. Heinrich is a bonus because they always seem to come up with great performances throughout tournaments. And that's what we're going to need, is our best players to perform in pressure situations. Regards to our bowlers, I think that we have a balanced bowling attack. I think that we cover all bases with regards to that. So I'm not really worried about our bowlers, but it's our batters that need to perform. And I think they need to be consistent, particularly Quinton de Kock at the top of the order. And I think Rassi van der Dussen in that middle order and Temba. So that top 3 needs to be spot on. Aiden also has a big pressure on his shoulders, but I'm confident with Aiden based on his recent form. He seems like he's really understanding his game now better than he's ever done before. So I am feeling quite confident with regards to Aiden. And he showed his ability in the T20 World Cup, at least under pressure in the World Cup. he's shown that he can perform when he needs to. I mean, it says in my spinners, if Maharaj is fit, then for Tain, Maharaj Linda, else Shamsi replaces Maharaj. Lawrence goes on to say, I ever feel if Kesh is fit before that Australia series and gets game time before the World Cup, you'll get picked ahead of Fortain or Linda. That's an interesting one. We haven't seen Linda in a squad yet, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that Australia series, whether they're going to select him in that side. I mean, we've had him on the show where we spoke to him, and he gave us some insight into the fact that Rob has spoken to him and he has had a conversation with the ODI coach. Can our batting handle Sri Lanka? I don't know. I think they can. I'm confident that they should be able to. I think we're missing the point a bit with Linda. The fact that he is general all rounder who happens to bowl in India is gold. You can then choose between Kesh or Sharma to make up the 11. Lawrence says Linda is perfect World Cup pick, opening up so much options for us, says Lawrence. In 2011, the World Cup in India versus South Africa, Tahir, Robbie P, and Johan Botha. So selecting three spinners in the squad in the subcontinent is a must. All of our spinners bring something different as well. That's very true. Lorenzo, but you had Carlos as the all-rounder and who gave us options. Hence, Linda makes sense in that regard. And Linda is a decent pick. I mean, we obviously need him to obviously perform as well and be in form. And we haven't necessarily seen the guy um, play a lot recently. Besides domestic cricket, we haven't obviously seen him play for South Africa in a very long time. And if we go to him and we have a look at his how he's doing in England, I'll bring that up on the screen. Let's have a look at how he's doing in England as well. Um, taking a while, guys. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, we go. Okay, so this is in Harare currently. Um, 25 not out with a bat, taking a couple of wickets, been okay. Kent for Kent, um, 2 for 25 in the T20, 2 for 49, 3 for 21. So he's bowling quite well there in England currently, being consistent with the ball in his last couple of matches in the T20 arena. Now, when it comes to list A cricket, we haven't necessarily seen him in a while, so we're gonna have to wait and see whether he gets selected. Of course, he hasn't really been given a lot of game time when it comes to the Proteas. So I want to obviously see him perform. Um, Maybe they get opportunity for the Australia series, and we can maybe see what he has to offer with regards to that. Um, we're going to need him to play some list A cricket as well before. We can't just pick him based on reputation, I don't think. So Yanda is showing us his squad. To the people that have just joined in now, we are giving you guys an opportunity in the live chat to send in your best squads for the World Cup so that we can put it out and scream and reveal it to the rest of the fans. And let's start this discussion as we lead up to the preparations for this World Cup, because obviously the Australia series is important and that's going to determine a lot of things when it comes to picking our squad. So Ayanda says Quinny, Temba, Rassi, Aiden, Klaassen, Muller, Janssen, Maharaj, Rabada, Nokia, and Giri, Rickerton, Brevis, Stubbs reserve batter. So he's added Rickleton into the side, which has been different to the rest, and Brevis into the side, and Stubbs, which is some have selected that as well, but as backups. But he's thrown Rickleton into the mix here as well as Ngidi, who hasn't necessarily been a popular selection amongst the rest of the fans in the live chat so far. Wait, I forgot. We're playing a World Cup in Asia, while Shamo, Linda are a definite must. So you can let me know, Ayanda, who you want out um, of the team for that. Tabo says, let's remember that Netherlands are there. So I hope we don't underestimate them. We shouldn't underestimate anybody. What's the story with Lungingidi? Not 100% sure. I need to maybe see if I can get hold of him and bring him on a show to find out how he's doing. I haven't heard from him in like ages or heard about him in ages. Kelly saying Kiev wasn't given much game time in England, so he left. Also, I understand. um, yeah, probably particularly in the county scene, he hasn't really been given much opportunities, probably because currently they're playing County Division 1, 2. So he's currently in Harare, playing in that league. So it makes sense that he wanted to leave there if he wasn't getting game time. He also told us that, sorry guys, he also told us that he wasn't, similarly to South Africa, um, if he wasn't going to play, he was obviously didn't want to be on that plane to go and sit on a bench. So it's another thing, that shows the type of thinking that Linda has when it comes to, his selection. Deadline for the World Cup squad is September 5, and SA aren't playing any ODIs before that. Okay, I didn't know there was a deadline for that. I'm sure things can change around because, like, uh, let me have a look. Bear with me, guys. Interesting. ICC sets August 29 as World Cup 2023 squad submission deadline. ICC has sent a deadline for submission of the squad for the World Cup on 29th August 2023. The date is set. The International Cricket Council has set a deadline on 29th of August to submit the squads for the ICC World Cup. This means that all the participating teams now have just 2 months to fix and finalize their squads for the mega event. Things now have become tough for India, who are yet to select their chief selector. Yeah, okay, cool. The initial squad submission deadlines at our tournaments are 30 days before the sport period starts. The support period start 1 week before the tournaments. Um, Changes may be made before the support period without seeking permission, but once the support period kicks in, the event technical committee needs to approve replacements. As per the ICC draft schedule, the tournament is set to kick off 5th of October, and therefore the teams will be submitted to the ICC 5 weeks prior to the start of the tournament. As per the ICC norms, the squad submission should be done a month before the support period commences. Now the support period begins a week ahead of the tournament. Therefore, the PCCI will have to submit the squad weeks, and thus August 29th is the deadline that has been set by the ICC. The job is not easy for the BCCI and selectors. Once the chief selector joins, he and with his team will have to choose the perfect squad that can go up and put the strong performance in the tournament. The World Cup schedule is set to be announced on 27th June, which we've already announced. In Mumbai, the World Cup schedule will be out to mark 100 days to go for the mega event. The 50 over ODI World Cup is 5th of October. So, yeah, August 29 is the deadline. And then there's a support period as well, where people can make changes. So that has been confirmed. Khalid, Linda should have been given a go at the ODI level long ago before Raj came into the side. Been putting in the performances consistently for VP in the limited overs format, says Lawrence. We always say when players perform domestically, they should get opportunities. Linda performed consistently with both bat and ball for the past 2 seasons. His 4-day stats are ridiculous. He even bats six. Kelly says having a wrist spinner gives us options in India when the conditions are suitable. Shama will go. Reckon Kesh will go. Do we take a third spinner or rely on combo of Aiden and another part timer? That's another thought process we have to think about, which we spoke about earlier on in the show. Having Shamsi with the short boundaries can be risky, says Amit. Did you guys think we will beat Australia 5-0 again? That will be great, but I would like to see two young batsmen going to the World Cup just to get experience, says Tabo. Kelly says, Amit, hence, when conditions are suitable, that short boundary could be a valuable temptation in certain circumstances. We need to be clever with him we are one dimensional. That's an interesting point, um, that I kind of agree with over there as well. World Cup starts on the 5th of October, so September 5 is the deadline. Um, I reckon, Kelly says, I reckon that Rob may throw the dice with one young batsman if he throws the dice at all. Tabo says he hopes it's Deva Previs, and I think it might be Tristan that they throw the dice with, to be honest. Someone that has played list A cricket. Let's have, he's played list A cricket and done well this season for the Warriors, and bowled a little bit as well. So it might be the case that they go with someone that has played a lot more list A batters, um, that has a lot more list A experience, as well as more opportunities he's played for the Proteas. I mean, to give a guy like Deval Brevis his debut in a World Cup is a quite a very, very bold move. He needs to obviously play some games before he gets selected. And if the deadline is the 29th of August, as we know, there aren't many games for them to play before that period. We'll only really have, um, yeah, like T20 events and stuff like that for them to do it. Um, Kelly says surely not. He's not ready. Tristan, in my opinion. Lorenzo saying the young batter, in my opinion, will be this was Stubbs. I agree with that. I think that's true as well. Elias has gone with Pavuma, Aiden, Klaassen, Miller, Stubbs, Rassi, Quinton the Cock, Kutsia, Rabada, Nokia, Shamsi, Brevis or Linda, Peace Pick 1, Janssen, Ngidi, Maharaj or 14 if Maharaj isn't fit. So if Maharaj isn't fit, then he'll go with 14. So another good squad that was released there. Yeah, so I think the main talking points that we can sum up here, it is based on which spinners they're going to take. Do they go with George Linder? Do they go with Bjorn? Do they go with, is Keshav going to be fit? Do they go with Tabrei Shamsi? Those are the type of things that I think we're going to be thinking about, which are three spinners that we're going to take with. And I also think it's going to be dependable on a backup batter as well that can also offer something. So either Tristan Stubbs, some people saying Tiervel Brevis, some other guys also maybe saying Ryan Rickleton as well. So the backup batter. And then what's going to determine that as well, which is going to give us a little bit of cover, is how many overs can Aiden Markham bowl. If Aiden can bowl more than 5 overs, it really takes pressure off the part timer. Then we can go with an extra batter to be able to lengthen the batting attack and have a much more powerful batting attack. So those are the kind of talking points that I think will determine what direction we go with. Rick stands a chance, but we don't need cover for wicketkeeper with Klaassen and Quintercock both there. Lichle says the cock, number one, Pavuma, Rabada, Ngidi, Muller, Hendricks, Markram, Shamsi, Van der Dussen, Maharaj, Klaassen, Magala, Janssen, Linde, Nokia, Reserve Stubbs, Parnell, and 14. So he's gone here with one spinner, two spinners, Shamsi and Linde. Okay, yeah. And then Aiden Markram for the extra spin option. And then you've got over here, oh, Magala as the all rounder, Janssen as an all rounder. Okay, cool, awesome. And then Nokia at 15. Okay, cool, yeah. So that's another option by the fans over here to release some of them. Lorenzo saying that extra batter will realistically bat 7 as well. So Stubbs will be perfect. And I think that's a fair point. And it all depends on what Aiden Markram, how many overs Aiden Markram can bowl. I don't know about Stubbs. We have given him an opportunity last in the T20 World Cup and prior to that, but he's barely got an opportunity um, to bat really in his own element in that World Cup. He was put in a lot of pressure, and I don't think we can compare the way he bats in T20 to the role he has in T20 compared to the role he has in ODI cricket. The two different formats. I don't like to put them together. So I don't think Stubbs has been given a long enough chance to prove himself in a conducive environment where there's not a lot of pressure or whatever. Um, I think he needs a little bit more time. I don't think he's been given enough game time for us to make a call on his career. He's still a young guy. I think he needs more opportunities. Kelly saying, given that the top five is heavily loaded and Tristan bowled more than usual on the SAA tour was decent, managed to get a few wickets in Sri Lanka. I reckon he's the most likely batter. Um, a year ago, Malan would have been a shoe in. Just a pity his form dipped. Hence, Riza are being fancied as the backup batter. Kelly responding to Tabo saying he's young and he had to play finisher, most volatile role in T20. He flourishes up the order. That's true. What about Mulder, says Lichle? What happens to him being groomed as the next Cullis? Well, if they wanted him to be the next Cullis, then they needed to bat him at the Lions at 3. Not at 5, not at 7, not at other positions. They needed to bat him at 3 and trust that he's going to show that he can do so. Also, when it comes to his bowling, I don't think they both Mulder bowls like Cullis towards the end of his career, that heavy balls, 130s, that type of delivery. And I think at his age, you need a little bit more pace to really stand a chance with the ball. But also, he needs to be batted in a higher position for the Lions first. Um, the opportunities that he has been given, well, in Test cricket this year against West Indies, he did well. But in the white ball arena, it hasn't necessarily been his best time in any white ball cricket he's played, whether it be T20s or ODIs or list A cricket. So what he needs to do is actually start showing that he can be that person at domestic cricket before we start selecting him in that position. I think he's not necessarily there yet. He still has some time to develop, in my opinion. Um, Lorenzo says Riza 100% go to the World Cup. Surely Riza 100% goes to the World Cup. Well, his list, I understand in T20 cricket, we can say definitely, but when we looked at his stats in ODI cricket, he hasn't necessarily been up there with the best within South Africa when he's been given the opportunity in list A cricket or in ODI cricket. So um, it will be interesting if they select him or they give it that spot, that extra batter spot to maybe someone else, and then Riza will be on the bench as the extra person. So it will be very interesting to see what they go with regards to that. Um, Kwani, Temba, Rassi, Aiden, Klaasen, Muller, Linda, Janssen, Rabada, Nokia, Shamsi, reserves Rickleton, Riza, Brevis, Stubbs, and Maharaj. Carlos, exactly, Lorenzo. Carlos was rapid at Mulder's age, and Mulder's only going to get slower. He's not going to get quicker. So he's already only bowling at like 125, 130s, maybe sometimes 135 he hits. He's not necessarily that quick. I mean, yeah. They've started batting Mulder up the order at the Lions a bit too late, says Kelly. He also seems to lack confidence at a higher level. It isn't about his stats, it's how he plays in general, says Kelly. Excellent points. Among pacers, Parnell should be an obvious choice. Firstly, he's left arm pacer. He has played 2011 World Cup in India and is most experienced bowler, says Amit. Lauren saying who's moving on after the World Cup will be interesting to see. Rassi, definitely. Miller and Quinton de Kock, big question marks. It will be interesting to see. Will Miller start becoming a player that plays mainly T20 competitions and becomes a T20 freelancer? That could also possibly be an option um, that he might take um, as he gets older. Not saying that I would like to see that happen, but it's possible that it could happen. Absolutely, Carlos was 140 kilometer per hour in his 20s. Exactly. Mulder's is that's why I was saying he doesn't necessarily have the pace that we would need from him at his age currently. I agree. Mulder has the bat to the top of the order for the Lions, of course. Feel sorry for Varane, says Lichle. Yeah, he's a pity that he hasn't got more opportunities. Um, pity the bowling is quite stacked because Kutsia is pushing. We should groom Bryce Parsons as the spinning all rounder. He needs to get more responsibility at the Dolphins first. I think it's a nice place for him to really hone his craft and become that player that we all think he can be. We brought him on the show to ask him that as well at not so long ago, so you guys can go look at his interview and see what he had to say there. Kelly also saying, I don't think Verena was ever going to be the first choice option in ODIs. There are multiple Glovmen ahead of him. It's an interesting point as well because we're also looking at the strike rates of some of the batters as well. And Kyle Verena's strike rate is not up there as well. Where does he bat? Does he bat? He can't take the six role as the finisher type role. He's going to have to bat up the order, I think, maybe at four, perhaps, or you could say five, but more four. And we've got Klaasen and Miller there who can really strike the ball and play the way we want to play cricket. With the 2027 World Cup being in South Africa, I feel Quintercock and Miller will stick around for that showpiece. Very true. I also like what I see Michlali. I would also like to see Michlali Mapungwana. Now, Michlali, I'm a big fan of him. I liked what he has to offer, but I think that he really needs to blow people. He needs to blow us all away or blow oppositions away in the domestic scene. I think we need consistency from him in the domestic scene, where he's putting putting in consistent performers over a period of time because he's been picking up a lot of injuries for Western Province, and he hasn't necessarily been consistent because of that. So I'd like to obviously see him get more consistency, and I think this domestic season, if he can stay injury free, is the season that I think he will break through. He's still young, still got time. We don't have to force him into the side. We've still got Parnell and experience with Magala and Parnell there. So he can maybe come through when Janssen starts breaking through. It could possibly be an option. But I think we need to see a better performances from him, a higher level performances from him more consistently. And he has to stay injury free. It's not good that he's picking up so many injuries at such a young age. Class player in a couple of years, if he keeps his progress up, he'll be in consideration for international cricket. I think that I agree with that 100%. Okay, guys, I've shown majority of your guys' teams that have selected. I've put them in the live chat. We've discussed every single position. We've talked about certain thought processes when it comes to certain selections, and I think that is the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Currently, let me tell you what's on the cards. I'm currently trying to get Enoch and Kwe on the show, possibly next week. And I'm also trying to get Maketa on the show as well, because I'd like to obviously speak to him about the under 19s tour in Bangladesh and get some insights before the under 19 World Cup. So I would like to chat to him as well. So I'm trying to get him on this week as well. So I hope you guys give us your squad, Khalid. Okay. Mine's actually the same as yours, Lorenzo. I think. Let me just look. It's between your and Lawrence's one. I was agreeing with a lot of the two over there. Um, I think okay. So I think Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma, Rassi van der Dussen, Aiden Markram at 4, 5 Klaasen, 6 David Miller. For me at number 7, um, I'll have to go with George Linder, and then 8 Sasanda Magala, um, or Marco Janssen. I think either or. Then at 9 KG, 10. Oh, I'm running out of opportunities. KG, yeah, KG, Nokia, and then Shamsi, I think, because I like the wrist spinning option. And then Bjorn Fortuin, because I don't know if Keshav's going to be ready. So Bjorn Fortuin as the extra spinner, as a third spinning option in the squad. I think I'd go with Tristan Stubbs as a backup batter. Um, and I'll also go with Wayne Parnell as a backup all rounder. I think that would be my squad. If am I missing everybody out here? Quentin Rassi Van Der He's a KG. Yeah, like I'm not sure, but like I'm close to Lawrence's squad over here, but I'm just thinking about whether I'll go with a Parnell or Kutsia. It's for me, it's about either go for the experience or go for the raw pace. Um, and the obviously that will be the decision I'll have to make. Um, so I'll have Stubbs instead of Riza probably. Um, I'd have Linda in the team, yes, but I'll also have Fortain in the team and Shamsi in the team. Those will be my three spinners. Yeah, and then my all rounder would be um, so bowlers will be KG, Nokia, Magala, and Parnell. All rounder will be Janssen, Linda, Shamsi, and Fortain. You see, now that's the problem over there. I wouldn't go with Janssen then. I would have an extra spinner in Fortain. So yeah, that would be my squad. Like I said it already. If you guys remember all those people that I mentioned. Lawrence, congrats on the 2-0. Yeah, preseason, bro. Although the coaches said it wasn't. So crazy. Uh, so Nakwane was good last season, one to watch. Do you think they'd go with two specialist um, SLAs instead of a specialist offie? Yeah, I think they will. I think they will probably go with that. I think they'll go with Bjorn and um, either Bjorn and Keshaf and Shamsi, or they'll go with Linda, Keshaf and Shamsi, or Bjorn. It's, I don't think they'll go with the offie because none of the offies really have performed in List A cricket to the degree that we can say World Cup squad selection. Um, because obviously we'll have the off spin of Aiden Markram in the team to give that something different. Um, Brevis over Stubbs would be vibes pick, in my opinion. Riza can't miss out on the actual 15, says Lichle. Well, based on averages and performances, um, yeah, I mean, going. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they pick Riza, but when we look at the Riza's performances in List A cricket, it hasn't necessarily been right up there. Um, so yeah, Kutsia over Lungi is still a big call, says Kelly. That it is a big call. Um, but we need to see Lungi play some more cricket. He's played barely any cricket. When it comes to MLC, no. IPL, no. MLC, is it MLC? Major League, yeah, MLC, no. So it's crazy. Um, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to nap because I need to watch United at 4:30. I know you guys probably laugh at me. It's a tradition for me to watch preseason. So yeah, I think that we're going to call the show now. I would like to have this discussion again after the squads have been selected. We're going to have another debate about this as well. Um, so Kelly saying I wouldn't judge anybody. No, I'm not judging on the performances. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that we need to judge him based on his performances, but I'm saying with regards to the MLC, he hasn't been getting game time at all. He needs to get game time. He hasn't gotten any time under his belt or gotten the gotten an opportunity to actually run out there and play some cricket consistently. That's more what I'm worried about than his performances itself. Because I know he has the ability. We know in the last 2 years he's been the top second best bowler in South Africa in colours in ODI cricket. So based on his stats and based on his performances, we can say he deserves a spot. But if he's not playing cricket, we know that Lungi is a type of rhythmic player. He's not someone that you can just pick out of anywhere and just play him and he performs. He kind of needs a little bit of time under his belt, game time under his belt. It's more about the game time for me than the performances. So I don't look at the MLC I don't even watch the MLC, to be honest with you. So I don't really care about that format. It's just about game time for me. Agreed, Kelly. Lungi for me is very underrated in the limited overs format. He is very underrated and he is a really good player. And if he was playing cricket, you'd be in my squad 100%. But because currently he hasn't really been playing much, He hasn't been gotten a lot of game time. That is what's going to be stopping me from thinking about getting him an opportunity. I think they should have given him an opportunity to play in the SAA matches, because he hasn't played much in anything, in any format. He's barely played cricket in the last couple of months. Um, my 15 is Bavuma, De Kock, Markram, Miller, Klaassen, Linde, Brevis, Janssen, Gidi. I knew you got to pick Brevis, Stewart. Janssen, Gidi, Rabada, Shamsi, Maharaj, Stubbs, Parnell, and Fortain. Very strong team. Very strong team. I wouldn't go with Brevis and Stubbs. I'll pick one between the two of them. I would go with either one of them, and then replace that batter with someone else. Um, could go with Riza. Could go with Magala, who's not in this team. So yeah, that could be another option with another all-rounder option. Kelly saying, I am a big fan of Lungi, but he hasn't been on the radar lately. Yeah, he hasn't played much. That's the only. I'm a big fan of him too, but he just hasn't played much cricket. That's the problem. Where's Aaron to boast about his clear England team in the Ashes Blues running? I'll try to get Aaron on the show after the Ashes series to have a chat with him. The MLC is trash, to be honest. Yeah. Um, Unless MLC wants to sponsor us to cover the games, let's not talk bad about them. No, I'm just kidding. They won't drop Rassi for Brevis. They won't drop Rassi for Stubbs either. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I just added Brevis for the wristband, and he did well in Sri Lanka, but I agree. Magala, also a very good option. I had him in my first draft. Um, yeah, okay. Go roughly me this send your squad in. Bavuma, Quentin Cock, Muller, Klaassen, Aiden, Linda, Rabada, Fortain, Nokia, Janssen, Ngidi, Riza, Magala, Parnell, Keshav, and Rassi. Um, Kelly says the English years have rained out all the other test matches around the world as well. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future videos. But also, what I'd like you guys to please do is download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Subscribe right now to get every single issue 100% free and access to all of them. We are busy with our latest issue currently as we speak. By the end of the month, we will publish that. We are getting articles in as I speak, as we are talking right here. I've gotten a couple of emails about articles that I need to edit and put in. So please go ahead and download the latest issue and subscribe so you get a notification for the next one. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. Let me know who you'd like me to interview. If you want me to bring any players on, let me know in the comment section so that I can, or let me know on social media who you like to hear from, and I'll try to get them on the shows. Um, I'll try to think of a cool concept for tomorrow's show, but I'm also trying to get Coach Maketa on the show to chat to him about the under 19s. And I'm trying to get Coach DOC Enoch next week on the show for us to ask him some questions about different things, the FTP, all of those type of things, SA20, all of those things. So, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another daily show. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. Peace out.